Alex Pettitt here at IBC 2023, bringing you all of the latest, and I am on the Blackmagic booth where they announced a whole host of new exciting broadcast products for us. I've got Darren from Blackmagic with me. Darren, where should we start?
First of all, thank you very much for having me, Alex.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to start with the Studio Camera 4K Plus G2. So this is a direct replacement of the previous Studio Camera 4K Plus. But what we've done with this is we've added SDI connectivity. So we've added broadcast professional connectivity. That has the benefit of locking connections, cables that you can run much further, so your cameras can be situated further from your live production switcher. The idea with this is that it's going to replace the existing 4K Plus. And the idea here is that customers can still work with HDMI, but when they outgrow their smaller HDMI-based switches, then they can step up to working with SDI-based switches, which might be larger, have more inputs, etc., and again, be further from the action, for example. It's still got all of the benefits of the predecessor, so it's got the USB-C connectivity. That means you can record off-board in Blackmagic RAW, and you can also connect accessories like the Blackmagic Focus Demand or the Blackmagic Zoom Demand. So all of the same great features that customers have come to love already, but with slight additional features that are just going to enhance what they can do moving forward.
So this is a great starting point then for people that maybe are looking into building a studio or getting their first Blackmagic camera for a studio setup.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences between this model and maybe the people who might be thinking about a pro model of the studio camera?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So this is the new entry-level, full-sized studio camera that we now offer. So anyone who's just stepping into live production with Blackmagic, this is going to be one that they want to take a look at in the first instance. Yep. But if they find themselves kind of either looking at larger format productions or they've outgrown their existing cameras, they might want to step up to the Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Pro.
Yep.
That has the added benefits of built-in talkback via professional connections. It's also got Ethernet connectivity as well. So the benefit of the Ethernet connectivity is that we can stream directly from the camera, or we can even connect it to one of the Blackmagic Studio converters, which allows us to send video, audio,
everything,
talkback, tally,
power,
comms, camera control, everything down a single connection. So those are the key differences between those two.
The other thing I would say as well that I love on my Pro camera is the XLR audio connectors. So that isn't in this model, is it? So
Correct.
It's one of the things that you can get in the Pro. But this, for an entry grade, I can't even say it's like entry grade. It's got so many functionality and features in there, and now as well, it gives you that future-proofing, as you say, from stepping, when you're ready, stepping from HDMI to SDI.
And that's full 12 gig SDI as well, so that will go all the way up to 4K 60 frames per second. So even if you're working in HD now, you've still got the ability to upgrade to a 4K production later down the line.
Brilliant. So when is this going to be available for people to get, and at how much?
So this one's actually available now. So as I mentioned, this replaces the predecessor. You can get that now, you can order it now, and it's priced at $1345.
Perfect. Let's go and check out the next camera.
Yes, Micro Studio Camera, let's go.
We've made our way over to the Micro Studio Camera 4K G2. It has been highly, highly requested, and it's finally here. Darren, tell us about it.
Yes, as you mentioned, it's a massively in-demand camera, so we unfortunately had to discontinue the previous generation of the Micro Studio Camera 4K, but we've made some massive improvements with this model, so we're really excited to get this one into the world. So first and foremost, it's still a Micro Four Thirds lens mount, so that means customers who've been working with the previous generation can just migrate their existing lenses to this camera and they're going to work perfectly. But underneath the hood, we've got a new sensor in there, so it's the dual native ISO 4K sensor that we have in the larger studio camera, meaning you can match this camera with that camera perfectly, same color science, and you're going to get beautiful looking images that match really well within your live production. Main points on this one being it's got the 12G SDI connections here, micro BNCs versus the previous mini DINs that were kind of push and pull. This one's a bit more robust and locks directly onto the camera. So you've got the micro BNCs there, full 12G SDI, so again you can work all the way up to those higher frame rates and resolutions. But then if we swing the camera around, it gets pretty exciting on this side as well. So you've got the HDMI connection, so again, connect this to a HDMI-based switcher or an off-board HDMI monitor, and then we've got the USB-C connection. So in this config here, we've got it connected with our zoom and focus demands, which are a great way to use the camera if it is on a tripod. But otherwise, you can control this remotely as well. So with a USB-C to Ethernet adapter, you can control the camera through REST APIs and control that remotely. And that's on top of the control you still have through the SDI that people are already familiar with. So it's going to be a great way to kind of pair this with a larger studio camera. You might have 2 or 3 cameras in the studio, but you want to position these kind of in smaller, more hidden places. We often see these kind of cameras used on trussing at kind of live music events, on drum kits, that kind of thing. In our scene, we've got some...
There's 4 over there, and you almost don't notice them because they're so inconspicuous. Yeah, they're great for mounting. I've seen them mounted in cars and things like that. And of 100%. Course, now with this one having USB-C recording as well.
That's right. So this will record to Blackmagic RAW. So it's almost kind of a hybrid of the previous Micro Studio Camera and Micro Cinema Camera. You've got just kind of an all-round micro camera here. You can do off-board recording, or you can work in a live production environment via the SDI. So it's super, super versatile.
I'm going to ask you one of the questions that came in from one of my viewers when they saw the Blackmagic announcement. Hopefully you know the answer because I'm throwing this to you. 12G SDI out on the SDI. Do you know what it is on the HDMI for those that do want to do HDMI? Is it? I think it's probably 1080p.
I believe this is limited to 1080p HD. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have another special. I guess you guys came up with another special announcement camera-wise, which is an iPhone app. Should we go and talk about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't think anyone was expecting this when Grant announced it, but Blackmagic have brought out the Blackmagic Camera App for iPhone.
Correct.
What does it do? Why have you done it? Give us all.
Effectively, what we want to do is kind of democratize digital filmmaking, so enable more people to get into digital filmmaking. And sometimes what's the best camera you've got? It's the one that's in, the one's in your pocket all the time. You've got it with you. You can get it out, you can shoot with it straight away. So what the Blackmagic iPhone app actually does is it unlocks all of the manual controls that you have over the lenses and the camera built in to your iPhone. So when you open up the Blackmagic Camera app, it looks very, very familiar to you if you've ever worked with a Blackmagic camera. So you've got all of the same kind of UI, the user interface there, and you can go through and you can start to manually change things like your frame rate, which lenses you're using on the camera, your white balance control, and then you've got all of your exposure kind of metering and your audio metering built in as well. You can really dive into the settings and really get creative with what you do there. You can bring in LUTs, you can work with false color, there's zebra features on there as well. So it's a very, very powerful tool, and it's now available in the palm of your hand, so more people can get working on it. But the really exciting thing is actually comes with what you can then do with the footage thereafter, because it can directly integrate with Blackmagic's new cloud storage and DaVinci Resolve project. So we can literally jump into the media and we can send off our recorded images directly to a DaVinci Resolve project that we've logged into on the iPhone. So this truly is now a collaborative and revolutionizing way to work with post-production. I mean, there's some great use cases where this might be deployed in the future. I can imagine journalists in the field working on an iPhone and then just being able to send up proxy files that the editor can work with straight away, get the full resolution format later on down the line as well. So it's a really, really innovative way to work with the iPhone app.
And you mentioned it there, it's actually got the capabilities of sending the proxy files first, or you get the choice of just sending the proxy files and proxy an original?
Yeah, you can choose whether you want to prioritize the full res or the proxy files from within the app, and that's all done through the settings that we have within here. So yeah, you've got real kind of choice over what you want to do.
And I'm still blown by the app itself. I'm playing it on my phone today, and it works incredibly well. But the amount of control, the focus peaking, all the you said it there. It feels just like it feels just like when I pick up my pocket cinema camera and things like that.
Well, that's perfect though as well, because it means that you can use it as a secondary camera. So if you've already got a Blackmagic camera, you want an alternative angle, you can use your iPhone as a B cam and get it into maybe a place again that your camera doesn't quite fit into. So
it's able to do that as well because it has time code too.
Correct. Yeah. So it will
multicam is possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do give that a download. I put it on my phone this morning, was shooting around IBC. It's if you've ever used a Blackmagic camera, it's very, very simple and easy to use. But if you haven't used a Blackmagic camera, download it anyway, because I guarantee you, after you use the app, you'll want to go and buy a Blackmagic camera anyway, because it is just so easy to use, and that is how it translates when you go and pick up a Blackmagic camera. Darren, thank you for showing me all of the new cameras that you've featured here, especially for live use. It's worth me saying, if you want to check out any of the products that Blackmagic have released here at IBC, their link is down in the description below. So click on that and you can see all of the products. There's been many more that have been announced here at IBC. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Alex. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button because that really does help. If you want to keep up to date with all of my action from IBC 2023, hit the playlist in the top right-hand corner now. And if you want to be notified as I upload new videos from IBC, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell.